Welcome to another episode of the Mind Investors Podcast with yours truly, Justin Perry and Al the Juice Man. Al, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? How are you?
Magnificent, man. Life is good, brother. Life is good.
That's good.
So, how are you enjoying Miami?
Miami is beautiful. Miami is a beautiful place to be. It seems that this has the less epidemic of what's happening in the country, than anywhere else. So, enjoying Miami. We're
Good,
blessed.
good, good. You know what I realized? I realized that the sun is more powerful and more beneficial than what they told us.
It is.
I believe that sunlight is the key to boosting your immune system, to really get it going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I believe if people are sick right now that aren't feeling good from anything, I believe 10 to 15 minutes or 20 minutes of just sunlight will do everybody some good.
Actually, I got some sun yesterday. It was pretty amazing. It's a good feeling. It's I don't know. I feel like it's more of like a battery charge. You gotta
Right. Exactly. You
balance.
charge up the batteries.
Can't have too much of it, but it's good for you.
It's very good for you. You know, think about it like this. We're mammals, right?
But
Humans are mammals.
yeah,
Everything that was grown on the earth needs sunlight. We need
I
sunlight for basic everyday function, but we really need it to, you know, boost and stimulate our white blood cells, the immune system. So, yeah, the more sunlight, the better.
listen. There's also a lot of things that we consume, things that we eat, that are better for you than other things in the food chain. Because, for example, if you take honey, honey is the direct source from sunlight,
Honey.
and everything else is just secondary and third or whichever. But direct sunlight, the bees collect the honey, and the honey is made
Right.
direct sunlight. So that's why the honey has one of the most powerful elements, and it can do so many things that are like imaginable things for our skin and for our body.
Right. Right. Now, thing is, some people say that raw honey is really good for us, but cooked honey loses much of its value because when you cook things, you sometimes destroy the harmful, but also the good bacteria. So raw honey, for sure, is absolutely good for us.
Organic raw honey, but cooking or
Right.
doing honey to take it to a different temperature than the temperature that it has. Even if you take honey and you put it in hot water, that's it. It becomes like poison.
Right.
You know.
Interesting how that is.
But anyway,
Interesting.
I want to talk today about finance and basically financial, just a general financial conversation about finance, about real estate, about personal finance, country's current situation, and the financial side of it. So, what would you like to speak about?
So lately, I've been doing certain manifestations, like, I don't know, methods regarding money, right? And I'm always trying new ways to manifest money.
Right.
I'm like a student, and I've been doing this technique that I picked up with using a regular flashlight, just like this, right? And what you do is you turn on the flashlight
Right.
and you point the flashlight towards a image or a picture of what you're trying to manifest or your target, right? And you visualize and you send your thought waves through the flashlight. Because I discovered, well, thing is, I didn't discover this, but I found out that light acts as a carrier wave for your thoughts. Light, all types of light. But you can use this simple tool as a manifestation device, you know? And they say that this actually amplifies and boosts your thoughts using a simple flashlight. Have you heard about that?
Would you say it also transfers the frequency in scriptures to reach to the source faster than just without it?
I think if you think anything long enough and strong enough, you're giving off a pretty good broadcast. I believe the flashlight tends to amplify your thoughts. You know, right. I know this sounds crazy, but I've done a lot of research on it, and this is why they tell you to use the moonlight to manifest. You know, the rays from the moon, you can also use that to energize and manifest.
That's very
rays
true.
From the sun, you know, the early dawn. Some lady, she talked to me about sun gazing. Okay. And basically, you wait until early dawn, right? And you look at the sun.
Right.
And they say that the sun's rays activate something, some type of energy within you. And that's one way to kind of open up your third eye. Now, it's dangerous, of course, to look at the sun, you know, straight on.
Direct light.
Right. But they say that the early dawn's rays are very beneficial, physically and spiritually. Say that again?
Because of its vibration and the energy that's of the sunlight directed to you.
You know, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why. I just know how. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why the sun gives us, you know, certain type of energy physically and spiritually, but I know that it does.
So we had a conversation the other day about what you just said about, things that you want to manifest. You could actually write on a piece of paper. Let's say that you want a certain car, that you want a certain house, and things that you desire and things that you want, and just your wishes, your goals, your anything that you want, you put on paper. But then you said that if you hit it with a flashlight over and over on top of the paper, that it kind of magnifies to manifest what's on the paper. And I have my own technique how to do that, but I never realized what it actually does until you told me the meaning of it. I had my own technique, personal meaning. So the technique is basically what you could do is write everything on a piece of paper, and you could light some candles. And you take the piece of paper and you fold it in half. And what you do is you kind of move it left to right or right to left on top of, these candles until the paper feels kind of like a little bit warm or hot, kind of sort of crisp. And then you flip the paper upside down and you fold it again and you do that again. And that's my method. And I feel like this have helped me a lot to manifest the things that I desire, and a lot of the things that I wrote on this paper with this technique the way I've been doing it, been working, but I never knew the meaning behind it, that what it does in a way of the way you explain it to me. I just knew that this is the technique that I created myself, and I knew that it works for me. I never put it out there for other people to try or told anybody about this except just recently to you. So now I want to give this technique to my audience, to take that piece of paper that you write your goals and your desires and your wishes and light some candles. Could be white candles, a couple of candles, small or big, doesn't matter. And you could fold the paper and, kind of like move it left to right on top of the fire, on top of the candles, because I think that flashing a light may be a good technique and it works for you, but I think the direct source of the energy of fire is much more powerful.
Interesting. You might be right, man. You might be absolutely right. Fire is elemental, and there's something sacred about the elements, something very, very sacred about it. So, your technique with the candle might actually be more efficient than a regular flashlight. So my technique is you take a picture or you write down what you want. And as you take the flashlight, you shine it on the object and you visualize yourself having it or doing it or being it. And you do this for between 17 and 30 seconds. That seems like the sweet spot of generating energy, between 17 and 30 seconds. While you're visualizing this, you are actually feeling as if it's actually happening. You are embodying yourself in the visualization, making it more real, using all 5 senses.
Is there anything you're done with the flashlight? Do you have any other procedures after you do that? Because I have one, so I'm just curious.
You know what? No, I just visualize what I want for, 30, 35 seconds, and then I stop. And then I might do it maybe 3 times a day.
So what I do is that after I'm done moving this paper around left to right in circles on top of these candles with my affirmations or my desires or wishes or anything that I want that I write down on this paper, what I do is I rip the paper up in 12 pieces.
Why?
And I throw it. So it's like, so let it be, so it's done.
Oh, you release it.
I release it, yes. So it's not like I'm looking at this paper again and over again. So it's like the next time that I do this, I write down new goals, new desires, or possibly a mixture of something I wrote in the past to kind of amplify it again.
Got you. Interesting. I never get tired of learning how intention and thought waves and feeling and emotion alters this energetic field that we live in.
It does.
It's actually mind-blowing to me that this isn't common knowledge, because I've been studying, certain government papers and declassified government files that clearly talk about how consciousness manipulates reality. But there's so many ways. There's so many ways to skin a cat, right? So you can use just regular visualization. You can use the flashlight technique. You can use the candlelight technique. There's so many different ways.
And I have one more topic I really want to talk about today.
Okay.
Which are going to be crystals, and not crystals. Only stones that are basically shaped in a crystal form. And these stones are For example, turquoise, sapphire, amethyst, ruby, all different stones that we have that come from the ground of our earth, which are so powerful because it takes years and thousands of years for them to come up the ground from the bottom of the core of the earth. And there's a lot of mining. People, have now new technology to mine gold, to mine stones, to mine crystals, to mine a lot of things. But all these elements come from the earth, from the bottom of the earth. And they're very so powerful, and they could be used in different types of ways to help us manifest things, to help us also cleanse ourselves, to remove negative energy from us. And just in different types of ways, these crystals and these stones could be used in our benefit.
So recently, I've just started getting into crystals, and I'm doing like a lot of research on quartz crystals and
Right.
how they hold memory and they also amplify thoughts. What are some crystals that can help people manifest money and happiness and or love or whatever? What do you think?
I'm going to actually take this back about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, me and you had a conversation. I remember this clearly. I was sitting in my range, parked up somewhere in Long Island, and you called me and you said, Al, there's this stone that you could hold, and it withdraws all negative energy from your thoughts. So if you hold a stone for a minute or two or three, that it draws out any thought or negative emotion you have at that moment. And I was looking for the stone, and I found it. Actually, I found it in my house. It was
Nice.
on like a dresser type of thing, where you put china and stuff and decorations in the living room. And I verified that it was that stone that you told me. And I tried it several times, and I came to a conclusion that it does work.
Interesting.
So I
You
can't
know,
remember right now the name of that stone. You probably do. It's called something like oxidate, exotite.
no, you know what? I think it is a natural it's a natural elemental metal.
It
I
was a
think it's
black
called hematite.
hematite. There you go.
Hematite. And it's
Yeah.
also magnetic.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
also naturally magnetic in nature.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's very interesting, man. Very interesting stuff.
Started to
Very
study.
interesting.
So you've been doing this for a while. I think you just got a little bit, off of it because you had a lot of new things that you've been doing experiments on and research.
Well, thing is, crystals are different from metals. I mean, each crystal has like its own vibrational frequency, right? So I was more into the metals, the gold, the palladium, the platinum, the silver, the copper, right?
Right.
Um,
Which are also a lot of them have a different function for our body. There's elderly people wear, for example, like copper bands
right.
in their blood pressure.
Copper is also good for magnetite, well, magnifying thoughts, but also really good for physical ailments like arthritis or inflammation for the
Right.
joints. Copper's very, very, very good. But lately, bro, let me tell you something. Lately, I've been studying magnets, and the many healing factors of magnets, but especially the North Pole magnet. Okay, so each magnet has two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. The North Pole raises the pH in the body.
Right.
It brings down acid. It helps with inflammation, arthritis. It stimulates the white blood cells. The South Pole does the complete opposite. So it increases inflammation. It lowers the pH, which brings acid into the body. So thing is, what I've been doing is I've been making makeshift bracelets that I sleep with, not for fashion, but for health wise, right?
Right.
And I've noticed, prime example, my father, he has really bad carpal tunnel, like in his hands. And that's from working for 30 something years at Ford Motor Company on the assembly line. Well, I shipped a very powerful, a magnet to him, and I glued it to a hand wrap. And I made sure that the north face was facing up towards the skin. He told me that after 3 hours of wearing this magnet, all the inflammation left his hand.
Wow.
He was able to close his hand again after 3 hours of wearing this magnet. So, guys, right now, those listening to me, do your own research. Google the benefits of North Pole magnets. You'll be blown away.
And they're harvested and mined in the North Pole.
No. So the North Pole is basically just like the indicator of the direction of the magnet, basically. So each magnet has two poles, North Pole, South Pole. The North Pole is where all the benefits come from. And the South Pole does the opposite.
I see. It's just the direction of the draw of the energy.
Let me show you something. Hold tight. All right, bro. So this is a neodymium magnet, which is the most powerful magnet in the world. This is the most powerful magnet in the world. You can buy this on Amazon for about $25. Okay? What I did was I actually engraved a N.
Right.
Just let me know, like, this is the north side. And what I actually do is I put this on water bottles.
Water bottles you have in your home before you drink them?
Any water bottle. And the North Pole magnet actually brings life back into water. People don't know this, but much of our water that comes from, the pipes in our home or the water that's in water bottles, it's considered dead water. Like, it's not alive anymore.
Oh.
What I'm telling you is, if you place a magnet, right?
Can you show how to do it with a bottle? Can you?
Yeah. You know what? I'll be right back. Yep.
Exactly, like on the
Good
bottle.
idea. Let me show you. All right. So what I do is, like, I take this and I just wrap it around.
With the end facing the bottle, or the end is
up? No. So you want the north facing the bottle. Like so. See this?
Right.
Right? And you just Velcro it on here.
And how long do you have to keep that there?
See that?
Mm-hmm.
So you magnetize water, by putting a magnet near water
Right.
for 15 to 20 minutes, they say. 15 to 20 minutes. Okay? But the longer the better. Right? And basically, the north.
I'm sorry. As time passes by, let's say an hour later, 2 hours later, if you don't drink this water, is it still keeps and holds the same charge, or for what amount to hold the charge?
Water holds memory. This has been scientifically proven that water holds memory. Okay? Now get this, guys. This sounds crazy to the untrained ear. But if you do just a little bit of research the effects of North Pole magnet near water, and you'll be blown away from the crazy benefits from this. So basically, like, this raises the pH in the water. pH stands for potential hydrogen. North Pole raises the pH in the water. This also acts as an antibacterial. So like, this actually disinfects the water, but also it kind of brings the life energy back into the water.
Do you think it will work better if you have, let's say, a pot that is made out of, let's say, aluminum or
maybe
or say cast iron or any type of pot?
Right.
Of water in, and you could put this around that pot that is made out of metal. Maybe it will work much better.
Well, thing is like this.
People, what they do is they have huge pots made out of silver.
Right.
And they keep the water there, and the water tastes and feels so much different. It feels
for
so
sure
good.
It does.
It tastes soft. It has a different touch to it. Is that what this magnet does to the water?
Well, each magnet has its own gravitational field, right? So look, sit it right there, right? Very powerful. So this magnetic field is coming in contact with this water, thus affecting the properties of the water.
Right.
Even if you can't see it, because I mean, like, you can't see.
Can you taste the difference in that water?
You can taste the difference. You can taste the difference. Yeah. So the water to me tastes sweeter. It's sweeter.
Right. Just like it's in a silver dish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's sweeter. Now, thing is, I do have a silver tin canister upstairs with one of my magnets to it, you know. But just Google the benefits of drinking magnetized water. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away. Guys, this is free medicine. Free medicine. Don't believe anything I tell you. Research it yourself. You'll be blown away.
No, I believe you. So let me ask you a question. Let's say if you have a water dispenser in your living room.
Right.
And playing and watching the news on your TV all day long. Will this have a negative effect on the water and on the objects that are in that room? Well, let's just start with the water. Will it have any type of negative effects on the objects? Will though the water is inside a thick plastic gallon?
I think that our thoughts, our words, our emotions, our consciousness has a physical impact on water. That's what I believe.
Let me tell you my experience.
Okay.
I've purchased fresh apples from the supermarket, and I put them in a nice bowl, and I left it in the living room. And my grandmother has been watching and playing the news every day, all this negativity about this coronavirus and this and that. And she's totally brainwashed by all this stuff. And I just ignore it and try to, move her, steer her away from watching these news. But she's just does it continuously. And after a few days with these apples, and they still look very fresh. What happened was I cut the apple, and the apple immediately got oxidized, and also the apple uh, 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 felt a little rotten. So what I did was I took the same apples, which was only two of them that I left in my bedroom, and I cut them, and the apples didn't get oxidized; they were fresh.
Wow. Interesting.
So also there was some tomatoes in the living room, like the end of it to the open kitchen, and those tomatoes, I felt like they just kept getting dull and dull, like dying. I noticed the energy, and I took out the tomatoes to the balcony where the sunlight and the aura and everything is different compared to the what's going on in the living room. And those tomatoes, after like 2 days, they felt like they were getting rejuvenated. So I just want the audience to know that we are made out of water,
Right.
and all this negativity and these news about this coronavirus and this fear and scarcity and constant talk, what it did to my apples, it will do it to your body.
Yes.
It will do
100%.
about destroying and downing, lowering your vibration in absolutely everything that you do in business, in love life, in everything. The news are a self-destruction. Nobody's forced to watch them. Nobody's obligated to watch them. Stay away from the television to play those news. You have to watch happy things, things that empower you, things that are positive, and play positive music in your bedrooms and in your rooms that have these different 932, 528 megahertz. They actually, have properties of these sounds to restore the peace in your house, in
Yes.
yourself, and in absolutely everything. So it was a terrible thing to see when I cut those apples. They got oxidized and they just started to like die.
Wow. Well, I mean, you're right. We're energy. We're water, right? It's like this. If you focus on what's bad in the world, you're going to start feeling bad. And if you feel bad, you're vibrating at that same frequency. And based on the law of attraction, like energy attracts like energy. This is why we tell people, Al, stop watching the news.
Right.
They're spreading fear because they understand. They understand something. They understand if we can get people scared, we can we can control them easier. And people that are scared aren't thinking clearly.
Right.
They're not actually acting, they're reacting based on what might happen. You're giving away your power. Focus on what you want and
And
keep your energy there and watch
I
what
also
happens.
feel like people have made a lot of financial mistakes in this
Yes.
time because of fear and because of the news. People are selling their properties thinking, they're going down in price. People are selling their boats thinking, the prices are going down. People are selling their stock. And as they're selling the stock and they're selling their things, you know, people who have a clear, a clear way of thinking and know what's going on, they're actually taking advantage of the population who has been brainwashed by the news,
Right.
been selling their stocks and been selling their assets and things for cheap.
It's fear, man. It's fear. You know, you know, time and time again, I've said this. The only enemy of man is doubt and fear. That's it. Doubt and fear is the only thing that's stopping us from doing what we came down here to do and having the life that we want to live. Scared money don't make money. You know what I
Right.
mean? So right now everybody's up in panic, frightful, selling stocks or just vibrating at this low vibrational level.
Because
Stop giving
they're
your energy to things that don't serve you. Stop talking about this. Listen, bro, listen. Words are so powerful. I won't even say those words in my house.
right. I know the energy in your house. The
Bro,
energy.
certain words we can't say in my house because I understand when you say something, you're stirring energy and motion. Okay? You're going to spark something. You're going to create a chain of momentum based on the words that you use because words are energy.
Right. So I have a question. Do you mind speaking about this Radionics machine that required?
Radionics. So, okay, radionics. This is a very interesting topic, and I'm trying to see how exactly I'm going to touch on it because this is very new to me still, very new to me.
Right. But
But
you
I
have
just,
but you have put the machine to use.
I have put this in use. I
You
have.
to
I'm
use.
noticing some things, man. I don't know. Okay.
So I wanna, I want the audience to hear the results of this machine and the properties it has, and also uh, basically the ingredients that are in this machine. And when I say ingredients, what it's made out of. And it's going back to the crystals. I just want you to touch a little bit on it. And I have my own way of, research and stuff that I've been doing about. And
All right.
it's something that the audience and the entire world uh, hasn't heard about. There are people that have the possession of this machine. There are people who are using this machine, and also there's also, through my research, I've noticed that there's levels of this machine. So
Right. Right. So there's levels to the machine. So, okay. Radionics. This machine was first created, I believe, in the 1930s by a physician. And he was noticing how people were actually getting better.
right,
He was using it to help heal people and also diagnose certain diseases. It was spot on correct. And in its heyday, they said like 6,000 other doctors had their own radionics machine.
right,
I'm not going to say this thing works. I'm not going to say that it doesn't work. I'm saying that there's something to it, man. There's
right,
something going on with this machine. There's something going on. So I just got my radionics box,
right,
going on 2 weeks. And I first used it for my mother, with her permission, of course, with her permission. And in the box, I put my mother, Gail Perry, is healthy and whole. My mother is healthy and whole because she was going through certain, health issues at the time.
right,
She couldn't walk before. She felt like her arms were like paralyzed. Like she wasn't doing that well. I put her in the machine. 3 days later, my mother's walking around. She can move her arm again. She's doing better. She's like 60% better. I'm like, okay, there's something to this. Now, thing is, I don't want to say that it's a machine. Okay, wait. Rewind. This is how the machine works, okay? Theoretically,
right,
you take a machine and you put your intentions. You write them out crystal clear. Crystal clear. I am or I have. Just like writing your goals. I am or I have. You put them in the machine. You tune the machine to the right frequency that matches your intention, right?
right,
And theoretically, this machine amplifies your thoughts.
Right.
So let's say that you think a thought and then you stop thinking that thought. Well, this machine is still thinking this thought for you. It's
Right.
still radiating a certain frequency that you first put out using your thought waves, your thought energy. So this box stores just one particular thought at a time, and it keeps broadcasting it for you, even when you're not aware of it.
Right.
Okay, so after my mother got better, I decided to use it for myself now. And I put in the machine, I am a money magnet and life is so good. Right?
Okay.
And I'm visualizing this golden energy that's radiating in my body from the frequency that I'm putting out. And I'm visualizing it go into the dials of the machine. And I started to tune the machine to the right frequency. Let me tell you something. Now, you can ask my wife. I'm not totally sold on this just yet, but let me tell you something. Since I have put my intentions into this machine, randomly from multiple places, we've attracted randomly over $17,000
Just from an unexpected
from unexpected sources,
unexpected ways, and the surprising, the
from
fun.
people donating money, from my book sales, from certain videos, from just multiple sources.
Right.
Listen, I don't know just yet.
I wanna say,
I don't know.
on my behalf, since you've told me about this device, about this machine, at first it sounded very crazy. It sounded.
Right. It sounds crazy. It sounds like what? Like, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? But there's something to it, man. There's something to this machine. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something to it.
Right. It sounded astronomically unbelievable.
Right.
But my research, and the person who invented this device, his name is also Albert, like me.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
I've done my research, and also what I've done is I've researched how this machine functions, how it works, what it does. And, they say that Rolls-Royce doesn't make advertisement. You never see Rolls-Royce in commercials.
Right.
Like, you see Honda commercials, you see Mercedes, you see all kinds of commercials, but you never see Rolls-Royce in commercials. Why? Because Rolls-Royce knows the value of itself, and it has no need to advertise. So this machine, I've noticed, is not advertised anywhere. It's moved around to word of mouth.
Right, word of mouth.
People who hear about it and believe in it, and actually, put the money to test it to see if it works. Obviously, you believe if you're gonna put the money in. The way I've done my research to see how this machine functions, basically, the machine has knobs and has different transmitters, and basically it's a box. But in front of the box, this machine has antennas. It has 12 antennas all around. And these antennas, just like radio, that you hear music in your car, and somebody's playing this music somewhere else, So the machine has a frequency that it connects to, just like a router we have at home, a box.
Interesting,
Connected
right.
to satellite, that's thousands of miles away. So this machine has the ability also to connect to the source that is thousands of miles away.
Man,
Through
yeah.
It's basically like an amplifier.
Right, it's like an amplifier.
To your thoughts. If you have your thoughts are running on a certain voltage and a certain level, when the machine receives your order, the machine now amplifies these thoughts by the thousands. and it has a clear connection. You know, you don't hear interference. You know how sometimes you turn the radio on and the radio is going static and stuff
Yeah.
because of bad connection, a bad signal.
Yeah.
Because certain channels on our radio don't have, you know, that connection and good frequency with satellites.
Right.
So I want to say to the audience is that if you have good frequency to connect to the source, if you have interference or you don't have interference to connect to the source, like, you know, a router connects to the satellite, doesn't matter whether you have or you don't, this machine will absolutely amplify your thoughts to connect to the universe and to the source that is up there. You know.
So listen, okay. So look, so far from my experience, there's something to this. I'm not totally saying, yeah, you know, this is what it is. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's something to it. If our audience is interested in owning one of these boxes, I will put a link in the description with 10% off. So thing is, the guy that I did the interview with, his name is Joshua P. Warren, and he is a expert when it comes to radionics. He gives my audience 10% off if you're interested. So thing is, the link will be in the description. Check it out. All I'm saying is there's something to it. I'm not going to say for sure. I'm just saying just do your own research, buy one for yourself, and then let me know your results.
So when are you planning to test this machine to, you know, you said how it works. You got to put a picture of, let's say, a car. You got to put a picture, attach the picture of a home or whatever you want to attach, whatever picture you want to attach to this machine, it will manifest. When are you planning to put this machine to use to manifest the things that you desire?
But I just did. I told you.
What exactly did you put in there, if you don't mind me asking you?
I am a money magnet, and life is so good.
And nothing else?
Nothing else. Nope. So thing is, what I've learned with using the law of attraction is it's always good to start off small. It's always good to build those muscles because faith is a muscle. Okay. You don't go to the gym and work out one time. You work out every other day. And as you work out, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. These devices are very similar to using your faith muscles. Okay. And when you give an intention, it always helps if you believe it a little bit. It always helps. You know what I'm saying? So this is why, you know, like I kind of made my desires very vague, which was I am a money magnet and life is good. Bro, like, yeah. So, I mean, so far, I am seeing things in my reality. Now, thing is, I was always a money manifester. But it just seems like things are coming in a little faster than normal. I'm gonna be honest with you. So, I mean, maybe there is something to it, bro. I don't know.
I'm gonna take my hat off for you. And I want to say that you've been coming out with extremely, extremely helpful and resourceful and most powerful material. And when you called me about this machine and this device, you told me that I'm the first person that you called to tell about this. And I want to say that you know what you're doing. You're amazing at what you're doing. And I want to wish you success. I want to wish you health. And, you know, for this machine to amplify everything you want and that you desire in life. And everything you've been doing and everything we've been doing together is only to help the audience and basically educate our audience to be great, to do great, and to empower yourself in a way to see a better you, a new you.
Well said, brother. Well said. Thank you so much. And on that note, we're going to end the podcast. So, people, thank you so much for listening to us. Until next time. Al?
Thank you. The Mind Investors Podcast. God bless all. God bless us. And God bless everyone's success and our success. Your success is our mission.
Subscribe and like if you can. Thank you so much, guys. Love y'all.
Goodbye, everyone.